Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another episode of Your Own Talks. If you're a small company, if you're about up to about 50 employees large, then the company's focus is usually on growing and sustaining the growth of the business, and focus is more on the internal, solving the internal issues. And this is where you need a sustainable approach, a structured approach to your business. This is where 360 Ops Consulting comes into play. And our guest this week is Vipin Maloo, the founder of 360 Ops Consulting. And Vipin has had an experience of about 3 decades in the corporate world before he quit his job and started his own consulting business. Let's hear from Vipin about his story, his journey. Vipin, thank you so much for taking our time and joining us here on the Your Own Boss podcast. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Sachin, giving me this nice opportunity. Looking forward.
Pleasure is mine. So, Vipin, let's start with your story right from the beginning, like we always do on the Your Own Boss podcast. We'll tell us about your background. Where were you born? Your parents, your siblings, your childhood memories. Tell us about that.
So, coming from Jodhpur, Rajasthan, Jodhpur is a place of, you can say, it's a very typical Marwari type of a culture. And born in a Jain family. Father was a banker, and then grown up in Jodhpur only. Did a study in Jodhpur. I completed my Bachelor of Science in chemistry, mathematics, physics, and all those things. Then moved to complete my chartered accountancy, CA, but unfortunately not able to complete. So I did CA intern at least, and then got an opportunity to move to Dubai.
How did that move happen? I mean, did you find a job here already? And the reason I'm asking this is a lot of people finish their education in India, have this aspiration to either move to Dubai or somewhere else to, find better job prospects. And you've done that. So what was your story? How did it
So fortunately, because my father was in a banking job, he got an opportunity to work close to Dubai for the similar. His own bank transferred him here. And while moving out back from Dubai to hometown, on that time he felt that Dubai is the place which is that is his foresight. And obviously I'm the eldest one in the family, and he asked me if I can find a job here and settle down. So I came, and while obviously every job seeker has some struggle to find it. I got my first, but that was in an audit firm. So
with your CA experience,
with my little bit CA experience and all those things worked out well. Because coming from a science background, mathematics background, so this goes along with it. So I joined a CA firm as a junior auditor kind of it. And I stayed there with that company for 6 good years. And thanks to the gentleman who hired me on the spot. And from there, next job.
And if I understand right, your next job is the job where you stayed for 24 years in one company.
Yes, that's absolutely right. While working on that audit firm, I used to go to the same company as a consultant.
Okay.
And while looking into the growth and everything, I felt that probably the new company may have some opportunities. So I joined this global company. They are in sales. They are the world's leader in their own field. It's related to oil and gas company. And I stayed there for 22 years. From chartered accountancy, working as an auditor, I changed my field to supply and logistics.
Right. When you joined the company, what kind of role was that? Like, what job did you join?
So initially I joined as a supply chain and logistics coordinator.
Supply chain and
First,
logistics.
yeah. And I used to do a lot of customer service and supply logistics.
And over these 24 years, you've grew in that company from a logistics and supply chain coordinator to general
Yeah,
manager.
it's a very, very good journey. Obviously, it's 24 long years, stayed in the same company. Supply chain coordinator, then moved to supply chain logistics manager, and then time to time company you keep having the promotions and all those things. So I moved to the general manager level, and I stayed almost 8 years as general manager there, looking after sales, supply, logistics, entire general management.
Wow. And like while you were working all these 30 years of the corporate job, or even before as a child, did you have aspirations to become a businessman one day? You think?
So my father used to tell me one thing that obviously it was a continuous packing job, but he used to tell me one day be your own boss. So I really don't know how this picked up,
Yeah.
but it was in a very seconds decision. And frankly talking, when I quit the job, I had no discussions with
Not even family. You
not
didn't
even with my family.
So you just resigned from the job.
Yeah, I just resigned. Although there was some talk going on in the home,
Yeah.
a little bit stressed or I don't know, like what the factor build up.
Yeah.
I was very happy with my job. No doubt about it. I was very passionate about my work. Skipping, attention to detail, and all those kind of things. Whatever you want to say as a multinational company give you 30 years,
Yeah.
probably it goes in your bloods every bit. And my wife was little bit suspicious that one day I will quit the job. And when I quit the job, I went home. I told her that I quit. Obviously, initially, so everybody was laughing that I was kidding,
Yeah.
but it was serious talk.
And so what was going on in your mind that like after quitting this job, you had something in mind that you want to start your own or
Yeah, so reviewing post-COVID, basically, or during the COVID, I started noticing that a lot of technology or a lot of startups are coming up, a lot of ecosystems are developing. So there was in a back of the mind, there was something was developing that probably having my all 30 years of experience, I should contribute more and more. The mindset developed that way. That gives me a little strength to quit that, okay, I'll use my entire 30 years of career to pass on that kind of an knowledge to someone and simultaneously I will be my own.
yeah. So basically using your experience to help the SMEs structure their business.
Yeah, so coming from a corporate global world experience, a lot of compliances, policies, structure, I thought that this is a lack of probably a field for SMEs and these kind of companies
Yeah.
who cannot hire a big level of CEOs or CEO. They can probably hire a consultant to do these things. So their company can have a little bit of organizational structure or some control systems in place. So they can also grow.
So this is basically CXO outsourcing.
True, give it the name.
And there is one aspect of this switch that you made, right, from job to entrepreneurship, and you made that switch. There is one aspect that people usually struggle with, which is the financial side. So I wanted to touch upon that a little bit. I mean, you don't have to reveal numbers as such, but like when you quit your job, okay, you stop getting your salary. You still have to run your family, right? So did you have that plan in mind? Like, did you think about it, plan for it, save for it? What was your...
So Dubai is obviously a land of opportunities. One thing which when I came to Dubai, Dubai was where and today where. I had seen Dubai going like anything, probably top 3 or 5 countries in across the globe. And good safety systems, security systems, everything is in place. One thing is there that coming from a good salary number and going all the way to a entrepreneur side, and that is also consultancy. Working for a 24 years because of the laws or the way set up, labor laws and everything, very good. So whatever the amount I am going to receive as my head of service benefits, I kept that aside. I said probably I wanted to give myself a couple of years to continuously keep working for the coming out this new consultancy, and simultaneously I have my own savings that can help my family.
So you have that cushion, that runway that can support your family while you're established.
Yes, correct.
I think this is very important because these 30 years of working, 30 years of saving, and the end of service benefit, which is a good decent amount. After 30 years, you get a decent amount that can sustain you for a few years. Brilliant. And now, once you started, can you talk us through that process of like setting up your business? Like, let's talk about the legal aspects of it first. Like, how was that? The paperwork side, you had to register your company, or what was that process like, and how did you manage that?
Yeah, so I started obviously by little bit of knowledge already had by 30 years in Dubai. A lot of friends who are in the similar fields. There are a lot of friends in the startup fields. So I was keep talking to them. And finally, I got my company registered in the Silicon Oasis.
Oh,
I took a license from there.
from Silicon Oasis. So Silicon Oasis is a free zone.
Yeah,
so,
it's a free.
So you got that set.
And one basic aim or the basic thought process was to take a company there because there are a lot of startups are setting up their companies there. And startups are those who cannot invest a big amount in initial level in the CEOs or CXO, hiring full-time CEOs or CEO for them. So that's the reason I started up there. I thought I'll connect it to this kind of an ecosystem where I can keep consulting them.
And so once you established this, once you registered your company, did you have to take an office? Like, did you hire an
Yeah, so DSO gives a good facility. They said initially you don't have to take a full office.
Okay.
We can use their shared offices.
Okay. And once that was set up, now that you have a setup, did you hire any employees or did you just?
So initially employee hire is not required. Obviously, I had to give myself like coming out of a job profile
Right.
in market doing as a consultant. I'll have to do a lot of hard work.
And how was that? And that's the point I wanted to touch upon next. That like getting clients as a new business, as a consultant, it's quite challenging. To go out and find clients there and convince the clients that to take up your services. How was that journey for you?
So yeah, keep doing that one. It's a hard journey. Yeah. But yeah, working on it. There are a lot of friends are helping, passing on the referrals, more with this kind of element. I made some referral partners as well who I continuously keep sending the inquiries. I keep meeting different people and keep approaching them to explain. Initial 1.5 hours, 2 hours, I normally give all kind of any tips which they can apply immediately if they want to practical experience before hiring me as a full-time consultant.
Great. I think that's a very interesting approach because they are like you're offering a little bit of kind of a trailer of the movie.
Correct.
You're showing the
Yeah.
this is the sample of what you can offer. And do you want to share with us any experience of like company that came on board with you and the kind of transformation they went through?
So one project which initially I received from one of the company, they were they were struggling for capturing the data which are remain with their employees or their sales agents and everybody. So when I said that you have to drive some organizational structure, some CRM systems where you can start capturing those data. Some, probably I can say, establishing some of kind of touch points where those data keep coming into their organization, which can be utilized in a good later number of years.
So you help them to build a structure around it.
Organizational structure is very important
Yeah.
when company wants to grow. See, fundamentally, all these family businesses are owner-driven companies. If they start thinking that they have to grow, for them, it's very important to start delegating some work to their directors. They will have to start building some kind of an organizational structure. Obviously, some internal control should be there. Probably, if I remember 99 or back of 25 years back, people used to say, join one good company, stay there for long. Nowadays, time changed. The technology has changed a lot of things. A lot of tools are available. HR also, the human resource departments of good global companies are also finding these things difficult to retain good talent within their organizations. So coming to a SME is another biggest challenge. Keeping the talent inside, or it's a both side story. Owners and family owners and business owners, they think that this employee is not going to be with us for 3 years or 4 years, more than that. Why to invest in? Why to invest in him or her? The same applicable to the employee. They also think that owners are not thinking about us. Why to invest too much on them? As it's
a two-way street.
two-way. But yeah, so if these kind of a culture start building up,
Yeah.
all the family businesses and organizations are going to. One of my friends' place I have seen this one. In my last before starting this one, I had seen a family business started delegating this kind of a thing, started building organizational structure. In last 5 years, he is already 5 times bigger than what he was.
That's because of the structure that
Yeah.
you built.
He built a structure, he built a trust on the people, he structured, he motivated them,
Yeah.
he built some internal control system, he started delegating the work. So, see, once they started delegating the work, they started thinking outside.
Yeah.
Once they started thinking outside, they find the way to go fast.
So, let's say if I'm let's say I'm a small company. Now, the definition of a small company is quite wide, right? Because like an individual solopreneur is also a small company, and someone with 50 employees is also a small company. Now, where and when should I think about hiring CXO services or outsourcing my CXO services to
See, although I say always be the small industry where some people are there who are already working with say 25, 30, 40 people. It could apply to small company also which are having 9, 10 employees. Even right now I'm consulting or I'm about to consult to one entrepreneur lady, dynamic lady. She really wants to grow in her entire mindset, and she's only having 2 employees now. But she is asking me to give her all right kind of a policy and procedure right now to her, so she can start establishing and she can start looking to outside.
Wow. So this is what you call like building the right foundation.
Correct,
right,
exactly.
At the right.
And I was impressed. I spent a couple of hours with her.
Yeah.
Initially, I gave her all kind of bits and pieces, whatever she wanted. I said, because you want to grow, because you think these are very important things, you can talk to me freely, whatever you want, right?
And how is that? How is the workload for you once you take a company on board and you start working on structuring their policies and everything? Like it's a lot of work for one person to do, right? How do you
So
manage?
right now, obviously, I'm not taking too many projects. I am focusing on bits and pieces, and I am a calendar-driven man. My corporate world also taught me a little bit, but then when I moved to this side of the table, I started using calendar extensively. Extensively means like there are a lot of family commitments, personal commitments also in my calendar. And in case any emergencies, if those companies fail, I have some thanks to technology again WhatsApp. I have different WhatsApp group with different companies, and if anything comes on WhatsApp, I respond. I'm not looking from that point of view that hardcore. I committed 2 hours to you, then done. No, 2 hours or 3 hours, whatever the deliverable committed, I'm there. But beyond that, whenever your team needs me,
I think that's an important and a very good approach that you have. That you're very approachable, you're very reachable. On that note, like, what's the best way that people can reach out to you? Companies that want to benefit from the services that you provide, what's the best way that people can reach out?
I have a website. They can connect to the website. If they get some referrals, they can directly approach to me. So, we'll fix up a meeting. We'll greet them.
What's your website?
360ops.
360 hours. Okay. So we'll include the show notes, in the show notes and in the description for YouTube. We'll include the website link and maybe also your LinkedIn profile. So
Yeah, its LinkedIn profile is also there, which is completely updated. I keep posting some and sometime on LinkedIn.
For the people, like people who are just getting started or in the consulting business, right? They want to do what you've done, which is quitting your corporate job and getting into the consulting business. For people, the aspiring entrepreneurs who are looking to do this, what would be your advice?
So I give you my family story. Uh, my father used to say, do the job first and then think about becoming your own boss. When I had my 2 kids, I started telling them from childhood that you don't have to do jobs. You have to create jobs. I'm coming from a Jain community, and since childhood it is being taught that you have to do seva. Seva is like society services or customers or community services and all those kind. From that, I built up one thought process my own while reading some books and all those things that developing a business also is from some kind of a service.
It's a seva.
It's a seva. Because you are ultimately going to create some jobs which will run some people's support. So you will have to have, obviously it's a give and take. If you will develop a good systems, people are there to work and they will work for you very hard. So my elder son is in entrepreneur. He's an entrepreneur right now since day one. As soon as he completed his engineering graduation, and he picked up his passion as his career. In his college life, he picked up as photography as a passion. Now he is in the photography as an full-time.
That's good, and you're setting the right example for your kids to.
Yeah, although I worked 30 years in job, I was getting a good salary. But I asked him, boss, you have to be your own boss and create salaries for some other people.
Yeah, that's an important aspect of entrepreneurship, which is that you create jobs, and you create support the livelihoods.
As people say, I'm also telling everybody all this. If you want to go in entrepreneurship, your first, I think, say 1,000 days are very, very crucial and important. If you survive 1,000 days, your 1,001st day is your top day.
Is there anything else that you would like to advise for the small businesses that just started now I mean, like we've spoken about the entrepreneurs, the aspiring entrepreneurs, but the people who have just started now, what's your advice for them?
So, who are just starting, they should build all those kind of in a control system or internal. Even they themselves has to be very, very disciplined on their own things. So, owners, when they are single entrepreneurs, they used to use their own credit cards everywhere for purchases, expenses. They have their own style of meeting with the people, issuing invoices or whatever maybe. So initially they themselves are not structured because they are trying to find more and more businesses. What I'm telling everybody that from a day one, start building up for nothing else, at least your Excel sheet. Your own Excel sheet where you can start recording everything should be there. Whatever document you are issuing or whatever document you are receiving, start filing in properly everywhere. Start developing a mindset where you have to see a control system is coming. Even in yourself, even if you want to go and procure some items, try to find 3 suppliers. Ask them to send you 3 quotations. Work on 3 quotations. Even your close friend is giving you a quotation. You still ask 2 another quotations. Look for those, review all those 3, and then go for it. Same way sales invoices, sales contracts. Everywhere you have to start building a documentation. The policies will come from within.
And that has to start right.
That start has to be right.
So, Vipin, one final question before we conclude here. 360. What's the logic behind the name?
So 360 behind logic is very simple. That every company has to have, look into entire 360 within
degrees.
themselves. That covers your market reach. That covers your backside of the entire operation. That's the reason I picked up the 360.
And I think this is where the small companies, the startups need that that help, external help, get a full 360.
Correct. So startups are like they are really touchy subject to me. I'm involved with I reviewed many startups in last 6-7 years. I am attached to one of the organizations who are part of the Startup India Fund, which is our Prime Minister, India Prime Minister. He is running from a government of India. That fund is there. So I'm part of one of the incubation center. I'm keeping all those startups also. They also is what happened. The founders and co-founders are always look for the funding. Simultaneously, they have to build their organization. So this is where, because they cannot hire full-time CEOs, CXOs, a lot of money is required. Probably in Dubai, if you will hire a CEO full-time proper, with a good experience, you will have to spend $1 million. So they don't have. They just want to hire my services outside.
Brilliant. I think this is. I'm so happy that you shared your insights and wisdom with us. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Thanks for sharing your journey and your story with us.
Thanks a lot, Sachin. Thank you very much.
So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that was Vipin Maloo, the founder of 360 Ops Consulting, and you've been watching and listening to Be Your Own Boss.